In this episode, we head to the sunflower swap meet in Wichita, Kansas. Hey, welcome to the channel. My name is Grant Tommy. This is Straight Six Fan, where I like to focus on budget-minded, relatable, creative builds. A little something I like to call offbeat hot rodding, and as you may have noticed in the opening scene, I'm doing something unusual, waking up early on a Saturday. So I am headed down to my childhood home, or birthplace, or old stomping grounds, whatever you want to say, Wichita, Kansas, to attend the sunflower swap meet. And if you stick around to the very end, hopefully you'll get to meet a very special guest in this episode. But sit tight, we got to go pick up some gas and some breakfast and make our way down I-35 to Wichita, Kansas. Bit of a dreary day start to the day. I'm at the halfway point here, just about 100 miles away from my house and about 100 miles away from the swap meet location. Unfortunately, I'm sitting with a painfully slow pump right now, but the reason I stopped here, of course, I can't make it all the way down and back on one full tank, so I wanted to put some distance between me and home. I left the house about 3/8 of a tank left, but it's time to get breakfast, and so I stopped here a little outside of Emporia, Kansas, at this particular rest stop because there is a McDonald's. So I'm doing this for Old Car Auto Guy because I don't understand that guy's obsession with McDonald's. Not a big fan, although I do love their breakfast. So we're gonna do a little bit of a McDonald's run, or as they call it in Australia, Maccers, and so let's do that.
Thank you for choosing McDonald's. What can I get for you?
Yeah, I'll take we'll do a number 5 breakfast combo meal with the coffee. I'm a little upset because I got the sausage biscuit muffin. Got flustered trying to tape and order at the same time, rather than the sausage vegan cheese McGriddle, which is my go-to. But anyway, their biscuits are good. Here you go. Have a good day.
Yeah, thank you.
you know you're at a swap meet when the parking lot outside of the exhibit hall has trucks and trailers and all sorts of things like this. A carcass of a Chevy Nomad. So once inside the exhibit hall, Century 2, I was to meet up with my buddy Tim, lifelong friend from grade school. He had his daughter Amelia with him. It was a good time. We had a really good time catching up, just walking around. I promise you that interview is in there, but first I kind of want to show you guys this montage. Hope you enjoy. This is only just a fraction of what was there yesterday. Okay guys, you made it. You made it to that interview I promised. And so I wanted to spend just a little time kind of setting this up. And this is kind of a new thing for me, all right? So I'm excited to deliver for you guys. It's more or less kind of like it's like an episode within an episode. But I've been wanting to do this for a while, and it's to shoot a documentary style feature on someone, you know, in the automotive world. And my first interview here, I think I'm even more excited as to who it is. And I get to highlight not only what I believe to be a Kansas treasure, but borderline a national treasure. And this is just this guy. If you go to my Happy Tubes Year episode, I talked about going and shooting this guy's business. Now, Saturday, I didn't have the opportunity to go shoot his business, but he just recently took his business to the video creator world. So his biggest following right now is more on Facebook Live, but he also has a YouTube channel, and I'm just excited to bring some more exposure to this, what I believe to be what's going to be a blossoming YouTube channel, as well as other social media platforms. So with no further ado, I think I'm going to call this this feature Meeting Nobody. So thanks for sticking it out this long. I hope you guys enjoy this, but enjoy.
I'm Chad Ehrlich with Nobody Else's Auto in Great Bend, Kansas. We've got Nobody Else's Auto Recycling where we deal in classic and special interest cars and parts, and also got the F&E Collector Auto Auction we have every fall in Great Bend, Kansas, where we run collector vehicles on consignment and have had really good success with that also. I've never known any different. I grew up around it. I went to Pitt State down in Pittsburgh, Kansas. Got a bachelor's degree in automotive technology from Pittsburgh State with an emphasis in service management. Went direct to Chrysler Corporation out of Pitt State and spent almost 5 years in warranty administration with Chrysler. After I realized I couldn't put up with the corporate world anymore, I started buying retail parts stores. And as I managed the retail parts stores, I just got back into doing more and more of the old stuff. In 2010, at the end of 2010, the local salvage yard just north of Great Bend that was called Nobody's came up for sale. It was a regular late model production yard. And the guy that owned it, I'd known him my whole life. I just went to him and said, here's what I want. I want your dirt and your buildings, but I do not want your inventory. Your inventory I don't need, I don't have a use for, because I want to do old stuff. We managed to work out a deal where I gave him 2 years to work through his inventory and crush out as I moved in, because at the time I had like 120 cars that were stored on some other ground. I didn't have, it was 16 acres of ground and I had 100 cars. There was plenty of room, so I said, and I'd known him my whole life also, so it worked really well. It gave him time to sell down on inventory, and then when he was ready, he was able to crush out as I moved in and started taking over things. So basically everything I've got is from Kansas. Occasionally I'll buy a car, I'll get it in Kansas, but when you look at it, you can tell it didn't come from here due to rust issues. And I've only got a couple cars like that, but 99.9% of what I've got here comes from Kansas and is pretty good metal and things like that. So the days of finding stuff in the pastures or tree rows, so to speak, is over. That's gone. In the mid-2000s, when iron went through the roof, that stuff got scooped up and crushed. Where I'm finding stuff now is word of mouth a lot. You know, if an iron guy does find something they know is worth a lot more to me than crushing it, so I'll get calls from some of those guys. I'll get calls from guys that are downsizing, things like that. The days of finding this stuff sitting in tree rows or in pastures is over. It's all gone. If it's sitting in a pasture, it's because the guy has a parts car for the one the guy still has in the shed. So, but the days of quote unquote dragging the junk out of the pasture or the tree rows is pretty much over. That's a pretty broad question. I've already got a lot of cars that are done that we haven't even gotten into yet. I do have a fairly decent collection, not a dozen, 15 cars that are nice drivers or restored cars that we haven't even gotten into on the show or talking about much yet. So I've got pretty varied tastes. Obviously, we're doing the 40 cab over for her, and all the way up to my Viper. So I mean, I've got a pretty broad spectrum of what I like. I've got a '58 Pontiac that I've had since I was 11, I think, that I bought from my grandma, and it was a nice original car when I got it from my grandparents, and then I restored that car about 20 years ago. So we've got early stuff, we've got 50 stuff. I like, and I'm 44 years old. I like second, third, and fourth gen F bodies. I've got a lot of that stuff. So I mean, it's a pretty wide spectrum. But
I guess that's how you get to 1,100 cars.
Yeah, it's kind of, if it's cool, like that's kind of what it goes by. That's how I find signs and gas pumps and pedal cars. It's cool. Don't have one. Ought to have one. So that's one thing that's weird. You never know. There'll be something I haven't found in 10 years, and I'll tell people that I don't have any clue, and 2 months later I'll have a guy call and he has one. You just never know what's going to pop up. There's just, there's hundreds of thousands of different types of vehicles that have been made over the last 120 years, and you never know what's going to pop up. Yeah. You literally don't. Even stuff in my area, you don't know, never even know it was there. And when we started this auction, we've had calls on cars that I didn't even know were in our area that people decided they wanted to let go of.
Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed that. Chad's just super down to earth. He did actually invite me to come shoot his yard sometime, so that was my legitimate goal on the Happy Tubes Year episode, was to go shoot his yard in Great Bend, Kansas. So totally stoked for that. Here's me and Chad closing it out from Saturday. Chad, thanks once again for letting me show other YouTubers about the treasures we have here in Kansas. I love promoting anything Kansas and YouTube creators as well, so they can reach you at Nobody's Show on Facebook.
Correct. Nobody's Show on Facebook, and we've also got a YouTube channel under Nobody's Show. So.
And I'll leave a little card up above Chad's forehead there for his channel, so you know. And I'll leave a link in the description. Yeah, link in the description below for his channel as well. And then your website.
We've got a website under Nobody's Show, but that does not cover my car stuff. That's just talking about the show itself.
Okay.
I don't have a regular website for Nobody Else's Auto for the simple fact inventory changes every week.
Yeah.
So I do have a Facebook page. I keep the Facebook page updated. New inventory hits Facebook first. Typically something comes in, I'll try to get a few shots of it up on Facebook within a week to 10 days. If I have 3 or 4 cars coming in one day, I'll try to kind of space them out so I don't hit them all at the same time. But typically within a week it's going to be on Facebook. I update my Craigslist ads, but that's every 45 to 60 days. Okay. So if you want the new inventory as it comes in,
go to Facebook.
The Nobody Else's Auto page on Facebook is where you're going to see it first.
And I'll leave a link in the description below to the Facebook page as well. Before we close out, tell us a little bit about F&E Collector Auto Auctions coming up. It looks like October 5th.
October 5th in Great Bend, Kansas, at the expo grounds, which is where the original drag strip is at, where they had the very first NHRA national event, is at that same facility. In fact, the SRCA, the club that runs the drag strip now, helps us out moving cars at the auction. We put this little deal together. It's called the F&E Collector Auto Auction. My partners and I sat down and we looked at the collector auto auction industry and realized, one, it's very big, it's very hot, but two, it's also very, very expensive. And they're all in big cities, they're hard to get to, they're hard to get in and out of. So what we did is we put together a program where we keep the fees reasonable and we look at the entire thing as an event to have fun. Come out, bring your buddies, we've got a beer garden, we've got a barbecue vendor, so even if you're not ready to buy a car, you can come out, you look around. It's a big car show with a lot of excitement, a lot of action, and you might want to buy one and take it home.
Exactly.
Or maybe one of your buddies might.
So anybody,
that's the whole point of it.
Anybody watching, put that on your radar. I'll explain that down in the description below as well. Chad, thanks for your time.
Hey, thank you. Appreciate it. Enjoy talking to you.
That'll do it from the Sunflower Swap. Again, there's a lot of information down there in the description below. Just a reminder. First off, guys, go to Chad's channel, subscribe. I think you'll find he's got a professional media group helping him out, pump these videos out, and it shows. So go over there, subscribe, tell him I sent you. If you want a straight 6-fan Pistons tee, link in the description below down there to that. But man, come on guys, if you've made it all the way through, you've got to, by this point, like, comment, subscribe, or share. I don't care which one you do. Whichever one you're most comfortable with, just do one of those. So that'll do it for this episode. Until next time, peace out.